maps making and geospatial analytics. So about today's webinar, maps making with QGIS. First, I have made few slides, like 4 or 5 slides, and the first point is we are going to host this webinar, but why maps making? The answer is very simple. Picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's say we have our data, we have outlet of our restaurant or any industry, and we want to present them to customer, and we say, oh yes, we have 15 outlets, but it does not explain the spread of our business. Like maybe we have 15 outlets in the one city, and maybe our business is distributed among different continents or among different cities in the same country. So if even we say verbally we have 15 outlets in 15 cities, but which cities, where things are happening? So map is the best thing to present our data in a geographical context, the spread or distribution of our data, like the map you are seeing here. This is the distribution. This is the sales center, Sapporo sales center, Nagoya branch, Osaka branch. So it shows that from top to bottom, or we can say north to south, if this is north, north to south, the business is spread in a country. So saying so, if we are applying for the admission in a university, and we try to locate it on a map, because we see either it is near the sea, we will have a very beautiful scene. If it is near the sea, if it is in Beijing, we will have very cold region, very cold weather, or if it is in Changchun, very much cold there. So it's about presentation on a, and it is about geographical context. It gives the idea or relations relative to its surrounding, whether it is a beach or forest or something. I hope I made it clear. Some of the maps are, for example, medical researcher is collecting data for about patients, about COVID patients particularly. For example, we say these days we have example of COVID distribution maps. So we take data of patients and then map it to see which where are hotspots, where we need to put the lockdown. Without maps or without visualizing them, it is very difficult to make a decision. Similarly, we conducted some survey, and we asked them for their location. Either it can be a street, it can be a city, or it can be a very precise location, like coordinates. Then we can make a map and we can see from where we got the response of our survey and what are the reasons. Either there is some link with the presence of a university, and the university presence of university means the higher literacy rate, and so on. We can relate things. Similarly, temperature map. The what we say that meteorological department often issue this type of map that shows where temperature will be high, where will be low. Health of vegetation, like one of the attendee in our webinar, they want to check the health of vegetation. So we can say this crop field has red color, this is very unhealthy, and this one is healthy, this is going green. So it is about visualization. Similarly, we can see the rainfall map, or we can do field work, and finally we can visualize our data. So that were some examples and benefits. What is QGIS? So why we have chosen this software? QGIS is basically all about maps making. We can make map and we can do lots of analysis in this software. The most popular software in GIS field is ArcMap, which is developed by Esri. But the problem is that it is very costly, and the cracked version is also not easy to install. It is very tricky, and it's installable. It takes like 1 hour or 30 minutes, 50 minutes, but it's not free. We need to use cracked version, not legal version. So that's why I have chosen QGIS as a software for our webinar, because many students can use this and do their work. Like they can produce simple study area maps, especially social science people, management science people, they can get their work done, and it is publishable. So it is completely free, it is open source, and we can download it from anywhere. And the beauty of this software is that there is a plugin system. There are a lot of developers in the world who make some program and they release it for free on the QGIS platform. For example, I am doing some work and this functionality is not available in the QGIS. Then I will write my own program, a plugin that will work with QGIS, and then I will release, and the whole world can benefit from it. For example, if let's say distance from one point to other point, this tool or this function is not available in QGIS, then I can write my own function to calculate the distance from point A to distance point to point B in B, and then I can release it to QGIS. So this is the website to download and explore. This is how website looks like. Now I am going to the website because some students were facing problem to download and install QGIS. Here is the website, qgis.org, and from where we can download from download now. And if we come to latest below sections, like this is the network installer. It will be file like 250 KB and very small, but when you will start it, it will keep downloading from the system and install it simultaneously alongside. But these are standalone installers, especially this one. But this is a long-term release, and for 64-bit and for 32-bit we can simply download from here, and it is around 400 MB file we need to download, then just execute it. There was a request to show how to install it, so I quickly downloaded a video from
Hello
YouTube.
everyone, welcome to.
And can you still hearing my voice or the video voice?
Yes, we can hear you and we can hear the video voice as well.
Now only my voice or video voice?
Yes, your voice.
Okay, so this is the website in the video. Like this person is downloading this long-term release. I think he is downloading the non-stable release, but okay, he is downloading the long-term release like I did. So it is downloading in the left corner of his browser. Then he will just open it and run it like this. Let him run. Okay, he double clicked, and there will be a pop-up showing. There will be a pop-up asking for. Okay, there was a pop-up just installing. Next. He just pressed next, and it is very easy to install this software. I am fast forwarding it, so it's done. Okay, finish. Then he will go to start menu and then find the QGIS, and here it is opening. So that's it. I am also going to open like this. So let's discontinue this video, and I am going to my start menu, and here I am starting my QGIS. Let's get back to few more slides, like couple of slides. So the most important thing in our webinar is about data, from where we can download some basic data like the country the shape of a country, the shapes of the cities. So these are the two websites I will also send you as a message. And the first website is Global Administrative Datasets, GADM. So if we go to gadm.org, it says you can download data by country. So whatever country we want data, we are doing research on Pakistan, let's say, then we can download a data like this. On that data, we can do number of projects and number of things. Similarly, if we want to download for China, this is for China, but whenever we use this type of data, the Chinese researchers say that this is not correct. So we need to ask our professor or any person in China who is using GIS data to provide the correct data. The correct data has some more features like Hong Kong and Taiwan in this shape file, in this shape. So this is a bit incorrect, but a little incorrect, but okay. I hope you got it. And okay, let's get started. This is the overview of the software. How it will look like. It will be very clean. Actually, these are the recent projects because already I have done some work, and the new version is also available, and I will do it. I did not check it before. So this is the interface of the software, and I think our time is limited, so I will just start very practical. What we need to, how to make a map, how we can shape our data into a final figure, and alongside we can learn about more tools. Just briefly, this is for starting a new project. Now it is clean. This is for saving a project, and this is to zoom in data, zoom out data, and zoom to selection. If we select some feature, we can zoom to that. So these are all feature wherever we stop, it will tell us what we want to do. So we need to open data first. First task I am going to do is to make a map like this. We got some survey, we did some survey in some areas, and we got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 some points, and we want to represent our points over the map. So this is data from China, and I have downloaded this data, not survey data. I have downloaded this shape file already. Like this, you can see GADM36 underscore CHN. This is downloading. So I downloaded and placed it in my folder here. Next, we need to explore what is in these files. So this is a vector file basically, or vector file, vector data set. We will go to open data sets here. Then we will go to vector because it is a vector data set. The raster data set is mostly from satellite data, images. This is vector data, so we are going to go to vector data, and here are all the supported format. It is basically a shape file. Mostly GIS data comes in shape file format. So we are going to webinar data, then map data, and inside that we should go to China, and we need to open this SHP file. Let's see what is inside this. This is the level 0 file data of the China. If we make a map on this file, it will not be very it will not be conveying the message. So let's find some more detailed data, and these there are many levels of data, like 3 to 4 levels of data. Let's open level 1 and see what is available in this. Okay, level 1 is, we can see the attributes of the data from here. Level 1 contains provinces and municipalities. Like this is province, Gansu province. Okay, let's see what is available in other data layers for China that we downloaded from internet. Okay, this is a bit more detailed, and it contains prefecture or city. This we when we select something, it becomes yellow and highlighted. So this is a small prefecture. So let's ignore this, and there is also, I think, level 4 data set, very detailed. No, China has only 3 levels of data sets. So we will be going to work with this GRDM level 1 and level 2. I will explain how and why level 2. First of all, let's visualize our data, what we collected during the survey. Actually, there was duplication of data. Sorry for that. I should have made a very neat and clean folder, but it is actually the previous work that I am doing again, and it's not very. So let's say we conducted a survey in these areas, and the latitude and longitude we collected were like this, but we need to convert it for GIS software. So this is basically degree minute second to decimal conversion. We can Google it, degree minute second to decimal conversion. This is the format in which the software is gonna accept the value, and this is basically the removal of last digits and just keeping it to 1 2 3 4 digits maximum. This is just nothing, just a 4 decimal conversion of these data sets. And again, this was the longitude. It is converted to decimal, and then it is converted to 3 to 4 decimal points. These were some attributes. The person who was doing survey wanted to record soil type and precipitation. As it is not filled, we can delete it. It is about depth, how much depth he recorded, the presence of maybe zinc or this element, this is Cu, what was Cu, and pH value of, let's say, water. So there could be tens and hundreds of attributes associated with this point. For example, I go to the lake, and one lake I took the pH value, the other lake I took the pH value, and I need to show it on the map. So this is basically X and Y. The longitude is called X in GIS, and the latitude is called Y coordinates. These are basically coordinates. So I have termed them as X and Y. This is what we are going to use, and we will ignore all the other values. So the thing after collection of data is to make it ready for the GIS software to use in this format. We can also write longitude and latitude on them, but it is already in use here, so we have written like this. Okay, let's save this file, and now I am going to open this file here. This is basically CSV file, and we will go with delimited comma option. And when we will see in the webinar data map data, this is a CSV file, only CSV file available in the folder sheet of city, and I will open it. It will show me a preview of the data, and it will say X coordinate is X and Y. These are the fields like area, latitude, longitude. So X and Y are readable for our software. So we will choose X with X and Y with Y, or longitude with X and latitude with Y. So this is how we are going to do. We will not learn about projection in this. Actually, this projection should be like this. This is projection is always there is something some projection associated with GIS data. This is universal projection 4326, so let's use that. When we will add and close it, we will see there are points available on the map. Now, first thing we see that we conducted a survey in this province. And what is this province? This is the tool that we can use. First select layer 1, and then we will see that this is a Jilin province. So we conducted survey in the Jilin province, but why there is a point outside? Let's color them. Okay, why this point is available here? So this is clearly the data collection error. So let's quickly find this point. This is long one, and let's remove this, because visualizing data will let us that there was some human error, and we will remove this in webinar. But if we will be doing real research, we will try to find coordinates of this point and fix these coordinates in the file. But let's, for now, let's remove this point, and again we can, now we have only 6 points. We will remove this file because there was no need to remove actually, because it was all automatically updated. Again we add these points, and when we add, so now we can see we only have data inside the Jilin province. So our next task is to show this data in a beautiful representation. So this was about our one step. Next, what we should do is we should make a, if we want to make a this type of map in QGIS, then we need to make this small map separately. This map should be made separately, and it can be made inside the inside this map, but it will be a little tricky. So let's first make this map. We need to present the whole data and then highlight the Jilin province and then label it. So let's close these layers and select this Jilin province, and we are going to export this. Be careful, we need to use option save selected feature as, because we are not going to export the whole data. We are just exporting what we selected, and it should be in the SD shapefile. And in our map data example, we will write it Jilin province. Okay, it is added to our layer. Next, what we are going to do is we go to properties of our level 1 file and we remove the color. How to remove the color? Let's select this one, and then we can choose black color, and the width or stroke should be very small. To 0.2 is, let's see. Okay, it looks good. 0.2 or 3. Okay, so it looks better now. And then we have a Jilin province highlighted here. So this will show the distribution of our data in the next map. Then we will go to a plugin. When you will install your QGIS, you will go to the plugin repository. This is very important repository in every work. So we need to find Quick Map Service plugin. This plugin is very useful to obtain background data sets. I have already installed it, so just you will type quick map plugin and then click, and here we will have a button install. So we can install this plugin, and after it's installed we will find this button here. So I am going to fetch this Google satellite underneath, and let's make its color very red. So we know now that we have a map boundary and we have a red color, but this is not very appealing. So let's try to fade the background layer a little bit. In the symbology or in the properties, we can find transparency, and let's make it like 60% and try. I think it is conveying a good message now. So the most important thing that I forgot is to save the project as soon as we start. So the project, to save the project, is first map. Let's save this. To make it a proper map, we need to start a new print layout, and we need to name it something. So first map, this is going to export the data. Actually this is the data and this is a map. Whatever we will do here, we can save it, but we cannot save this data as it is the working data. This is a print layout, and what we are going to do is we first need to add a map in it. It is a A4 sheet, so let's add a small map here. Then we can crop it, and there are multiple options available like zoom, or this is move item or content. Whatever inside the map, we can move it. So what I am doing is I am moving it here. It is a, so I hope you got the idea. Let's, okay, this is about the moving of the frame, and this is about moving the content. We can move the content, whatever is available in our map. So our map is almost ready, but we need to make it a little smaller from top and bottom. It's okay now, and let's try to improve the transparency to 70 and refresh it. Okay, it is much better now. Then we can add a label. We can add a label here. It's Jilin Province, or we can use a Photoshop later to add this type of label if it is not easy to do in the QGIS. So this is our Jilin Province label. We can move it little closer, and then we can draw anything here. Can we draw something? What is this? Add arrow. Okay, let's add arrow. The more time we will spend, we can do more beautification. Why? What is this? I have added arrow somehow, but I don't know why it is not working now. Okay, it's done now. Let's put it little below. This is, whatever we do in QGIS, there are properties. These are the properties open for the arrow. Its head is 4 millimeter. Let's reduce it to maybe 2 millimeter. stroke width, minimize, and we can point out like this. Okay, any questions till now? Now I am going to export it as an image and keep it saved. It is saying that this data is the property of Google and it might take some time, or it sometime it cannot be. This background data is a property of Google and it cannot be exported very accurately, but most of the time it gets exported, so no problem. So this is the Gillean map inset. So we save it like high quality, around 500 quality, because we have a raster data inside. And let's save it. It will take some time because the quality of the data is high. I should have saved to 300, but okay, if it does not get exported, because we need to um, wait for some time. If it does not get exported, I think we have data available, already exported data available like this. No, okay, no available. Okay, it got exported and let's look at it. Where is that? Okay, Gillean map inset. Here is our data. Okay, we will crop it later and we will make it a small. So next important step in our map is to take this to close these all layers and zoom to this layer, and now take this data Gillean map and show the distribution of these points inside the Gillean map. What we are going to do is we need to check what things lie inside the Gillean province. So let's increase the width of background layer. This layer, we can see that this layer is actually, we need to make this one empty, and okay, so this is the when we make the level 2 layer empty, we can see that these all things lie inside these all boundaries lie inside the Gillean province. So we need to export these boundaries first from this level 2 boundary. Let's select these boundaries. We can we press shift and we can select them. Now we can see these boundaries are selected in yellow color. Okay, I hope no, we do not need this. Okay, let's export this. Save as a shapefile, and we name it Gillean province level 2. We only need level 2 data for Gillean province, so that's why we need to export it. Now we are going to close the whole China layer, and we have this beautiful representation of only the Gillean province, and the points we imported earlier are available here. We can increase the symbology, make it like 1 or 2. So now we can see our points, where our points lie. We can label the background data using, first we go to properties, then we go to labels, then we go to single label, and then we drop the field. And first let's check in which field our label is available. Like these are the fields in attribute table, and we want this name 2, it is in Chinese, so we want nl underscore name 2 or name underscore 2 in English. That's better. So let's go to properties, go to label, single label, and we go to name underscore 2. Okay, that is the labeling of background data. If we want this type of map, this type of map is okay, but actually our concern is about these points. So I am going to close the labels for this data, no label, and I am going to open the labels for our point data. And and we have area, serial number, area, latitude, converted value. As you remember, in the Excel file, all the columns we have, first we should apply here this area name or whatever name, or maybe pH value we want to apply here, or any value, anything we want to apply here, we can do that. Similarly, and in the sample map that I showed you, it is much more beautiful. We can see that we successfully wrote the latitude and longitude with each symbol. These are basically multiple fields in the label. I will try to do this, but I'm not sure because this was made in the ArcMap, so I'm not sure if QGIS will do it or not. So that's it, and let's go to our print layout. Final map, Jillian. Now I am going to show you how we can make a final map. First we will make a print layout, then we will add a map. Let's add map to whole area, and then no, we need to zoom the content. How to zoom the content? So this is not zooming the content. Okay, just simple click of mouse and what we say is the roller in the mouse. We can use it to zoom in and zoom out. This is the distribution of our map. I think there is some function like this. We can scale. We can see if the scale is decreasing. 38,000 or 19,000. We can make it somewhere 25. Okay, like this. And then we are going to add image, add picture. Here we are going to add the picture. What picture? How to add the picture? Okay, this is the map data. Raster image, because that was not the SVG. And we can see this is Jillian map inside that we made. Okay, we got the picture, and similarly we can zoom in. Why we cannot zoom in and zoom out this picture? I think I made it and like some other technique. Let's show that later. Let's first finalize other elements in our map. What are the other elements in this sample? So this is the boundary. Actually, this beautiful map is made in the. So let's add legend. So whatever we select, we draw it here, and here it is. For the legend, we will first of all close the auto update. Then we can double click on anything and we can say survey points and change the name. and then go back like this. And we can Jilin province level 2 is not looking good, so we set Jilin province and then go back. GADM CHN is not very convincing, and we need to remove these all layers from here because we do not need it anymore. So to remove it, hmm, it is not removing. These layers are not removing. Okay, here are the options at the bottom. We need to click this minus sign and just remove this. So we have just these two things in our legend, and when we can go to properties of the legend, we can add title. I don't know it is legend or legend. I not sure. We can adjust the font size. This is the font of the word legend. We can increase or decrease it. And this is about group heading. We do not have any group, and this is about items. So for item, we can increase its size like 21, and we can change the color and we can change the font style as well. If we go to the items, where are items? And we can do alignment like center alignment we want, and left alignment. So we can do a lot of things here. This should be 18, I think. That's enough. We can change the color of font, and also we can change the font itself. Let's put Times New Roman here. So this will be our legend here. Now we are going to add a scale bar. That's important in any map. Let's put this scale bar here. We can configure this scale bar using properties, but actually it is pretty good now. In the first try, we got it correct. Like it looks good. 100, 200. We try to find this type of figure 100, 200, because if 414.56 is written, it will not look good. Then we need to expand it a little, or no, in this, no, in ArcMap it works. So we need to adjust it from here. We have 100 as a fixed unit, so we can make increase or decrease. If we say 101, so it will increase or decrease. This is a scale bar. Then we can add a north arrow. North arrow should be mostly here, but we are going to put our inset map there. So let's put north arrow somewhere here is okay. North arrow, no problem, we can put it here. So this is almost done. We can add what we can add more. There can be a dynamic text like what date, who is the author, add shape, and we can add a boundary like this, and we can style it rectangle. Should be outline, simple line like this. Okay, now it looks nice. I am going to export it. Let's final map of Jilin.jpg. We are going to export it like 300 dpi or 400 is okay. Okay, let's save it. Usually, the other map should fit here, but it is not working. Let's try again. Let's try once again. Raster image. Delete map insert. Why it is not working? Here is position and size. Mhm. This inside map is not responding. So we will put it another way. So what we just released is exported is this map, and next we can open it in a Photoshop, or some people use Paint, but I am going to use Photoshop to get our work done. And actually our two maps are ready. Just paste the insert map over it. And oh, actually we need to, that was the issue. Why that was not working was, actually this map is very big. We need to first crop it like this, and save it. Now if we go back to QGIS, we can add the image here directly. I hope this time it will work. It is a raster image, and it is, oh no, Jillian map insert. Yes, it is now working. Actually the image was so big that it was, so whatever we increase or decrease the size, we can make a small rectangle outside it. Where is, oh sorry, happened to that. Control Z. Yes. Okay, let's Control Z. This is the frame. We are going to have a small frame outside. Here is the frame. Thickness around 1 or 0.5 is okay. And let's fix it here like this. So this, we are going to export it again. Final map Jillian, we can say 1. And next we should export it again to 300 or higher resolution, and it's done. So final map Jillian 1, let's open it. Okay, so here it is. This is our map that we just made. We can show any distribution. We can show that this is the Jilin area in China. In the, if this is north, I think so, in the east side, and this is the zoom of the Jilin, and then we have our points available inside the map. So that's it. This was our first practice. We still have 1 hour left, I think. So I am just stopping for 2 minutes, and let's get back to question answer session maybe. Do you have some question, or maybe just a 1 to 2 minute break for water? Stingray sir, are you there? Okay, let's continue if everything is clear. I am again.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for your presentations and for your time. May I ask one question about this map?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I have a question regarding the longitude and latitude point as you shown in the Excel sheet.
Mhm,
Sometime like you referred us one website, GADM. So in this
mhm,
website we can get the like the country map and also the city map. Sometimes
mhm,
like I'm doing research because my field is transportation engineering, so I'm doing research like Lahore BRT, so I want to mark the station point on the map.
mhm,
So how I
mhm,
will get those longitude and latitude, because we didn't get from the in the map we can get only the like the city level or the country level
Yeah,
for the
that's right.
specific, yeah, for the specific point how I will get it.
Mhm. Yeah, this is a problem when we do survey. So we are talking about Lahore BRT. If we are talking about Lahore BRT, no, Lahore, Pakistan. So you are talking about Orange Line,
Metro,
maybe?
anyone, metro
Metro.
or orange,
Yeah,
both are
yeah.
okay. No?
So if you know where it is located, then there are 2 to 3 ways.
Yeah.
I also checked once. Let's say this is Shadman railway station. So
Okay.
if we start from here, then you can just keep writing it in the Excel file, like what we did. If the work is simple like this, you can do it here, but I will let you know another source.
Okay.
We can simply write like station 1, Shadman something, then we should write lat and long
Yeah.
here, latitude, longitude, and these are the latitude and longitude in the upper bar. Just
Okay.
copy them, and we can first paste here. Then we can do delimited comma to separate them or separate them manually. If the work is small, it like 15 20 stations, it can be done manually. But
Okay.
if there is lot of data and available on some website, for example, and some data is already available on the website, like for example, I am doing the TCS or some bank.
Okay.
Let's go to some bank, and okay, here is find your nearest express center. If they have already marked these data sets, we can request to the department, or we can write a computer science program to steal the data, to go to the website again and again, and extract the latitude and longitude data. This is the other way. If somewhere BRT station is available,
Okay.
we can directly. And third method is Google Earth. You
Um,
can
Google
you
Earth
can
Pro.
mark your, yeah, Google Earth is already a Google Earth Pro. It is free.
Yeah.
Google Earth Store made it pro for anyone. So in the Google Earth, we can. It is same as Google Map. It will search the same locations like Lahore metro station. Okay, this is station 1. Let's save to my place. We need to save it to my place. Then we see what is this. This is again the metro station 1, and we can search with their name or see if this is the different station. This is Mazangi Chungi metro station. This is the center. We can save this. How to save this? There is option to save, or we can search it again. Katba Chowk metro station. There was an option to save. Okay, this is the Katba Chowk metro station. We can save to my places. Now we have 2 places here. Similarly, we can search more stations, and we continue to add them to our place like this. Now we have these 3 as a my places, and now let's save places as metro stations. Metro stations, this folder. Okay, when we save, let me close these maps first. I think this work is done. So let's open another. So this KML file can directly open in the QGIS. So we have 3 places, and this is not required. This tour is only we select these 3 places and upload it to. No. My places. Just remove first this one. Delete. Let's take it to the temporary places or make another folder. Try to save it again. We don't want this sightseeing. This was the wrong. We need to remove this from sightseeing. Metro stations. Let's drag to metro station. Drag to metro station. Drag to metro station. Now we can save this. This is metro stations 1. This sightseeing tour, which is given by Google Map, was making the problem. So this is the file that we just saved. Remove. Why it is not showing? This is the way we usually, these are points, Save places as, usually do like this. Try to save as KML. Maybe data set is very small, or it should be the point data, not like this. I will figure it out and you can connect to me. Actually, this should
Okay, sir, no problem.
this should produce. Otherwise, we can do it like this. We can make a point here, and we write a station 1.
Okay.
We use this option to make a point here. We say station 2, or we can use this option to make a point here, and we say station 3 randomly. And we can also draw a line if we want to make the connection between this metro track,
Yeah.
where this metro track is.
Because sometimes we also do like buffering, like this stuff for those stuff like this is not suitable. So I need the location point, like latitude and longitude. After that, we will use another feature in it.
Yeah. Now let's try to export this, and let's see.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, now we have 3 metro stations and 1 line feature. We select both, and now we can see that these are the 3 stations that we marked. We
Yeah.
can see their name: station 1, station 2, station 3, and we can visualize them on Google Satellite. It is the same place, remember?
No, thank you.
Okay, so this is the basic techniques. We can use more advanced techniques as well, and also there are many tutorials available on YouTube. If you want to learn it on your own, then more tutorials available on the YouTube. Less time is remaining. Let's move forward to example of Pakistan. I think it will be the final example today. So again, in Pakistan shapefile downloaded from the website, we only have uh, 3 levels of data sets. This is shapefile Pakistan level 3, Pakistan level 2, and Pakistan level 1. It will only open the SHP file. The other files are the extensions of SHP file. So let's open these 3 files directly by dragging. This is 1. When we close 1, we can see 2, and when we close 2, we can see the level 3, the more detailed level. So what actually happened during our research is, let's take example that we were doing some survey in different districts, and we wrote the name of all the districts, or we were given the name of districts, and we did some survey. We can say education level or number of respondents. For now we take number of respondents, and we want to make them, we want to map them to the district level data. This should be the CSV file we can make from Excel file. So what we are going to do is that we need to attach this data with our data, and there should be one common thing. Either it can be the ID or it can be the name of the district. If we open the attribute, we can see that this name 3 is similar to what I just opened. We can see this name 3 is similar to this name here. It means that we can join this data with this data, and we do not have number of respondent information here, but after joining it, we can have number of respondent information in our data. Let's join. We can search it here, join by attribute field. We have common field, and we want to join it here. The first table is GADM3. This is our layer, and we want this name 3 joined to, no, sorry, first we need to open our other data set. The other data set is this, our survey data. As it does not have latitude and longitude, so there is no field, no value here. We select no geometry because there is no latitude and longitude. It cannot be on the map unless it is attached to some data. So simply just add it. It is just a table. It cannot be visualized on the map. We need to attach it to this layer using attribute by field, and the attribute, common attribute, is name 3 with GADM3 data, this table in which our survey data is available, and the common field name is district name. The district name is matching with the name 3. And when we run this, we see we have a joint layer. When we open the attribute of this joint layer, we will see that the last column is number of survey respondents. We can see here. You got it? So actually what happened that this district name was similar to this name 3. So name 3 is attached to our data, and now we have this information in our map data set. Now we can visualize it easily. First we need to save it. Let's return map data set, map to webinar, Pakistan. Okay. Okay, let's go to properties and let's go to symbology. Now is the tricky part, not tricky part, just the visualization part of this map. Actually, we want to show the categories of the respondents. So let's go to categorize symbol, and we want to make the classes, but based on the value, number of survey people available. So how to categorize this? Let's classify here. This will assign different color to every number of respondent, but this is not the good way of presenting data. Let's go to graduated symbols. In this type of symbol, we will make 5 classes, or maybe we can make more classes. Let's first classify with 5 classes and see what is the lower bound and upper bound. The lowest value is 1 and the highest value is 495. So what I suggest is we make it like 100 for one class. Let's double click, and upper value should be 100. We can manually change these values 100.01 to 200, and 200.01 to 300, and 300.01 to 400, and 400.01 to 500. Similarly, we should add 0.01 here to show the continuity of the data. Otherwise, it will show the overlap. This is just the legend table, and this is the actual value of the data. Let's apply it, and we will see that now our map has several colors. And if you look at the legend here, this is not legend, but legend will be in the map, but this is actual distribution. Let's change this white color to gray shade, maybe to. Okay, now we know the 1 to 100 participants has only blackish color, and the other we can see the different color, or maybe the different tone of red color. So we can visualize our data like this. Anything we survey, we bring out of our research, we can show them on the map. Similarly, we can make a new print layout, Pakistan map layout. We can add item as a map like this. We can zoom in to our content. This map is missing one important part, and that part is obtained with the GIS data. If we download the Indian data, then it will come. I think I have my Kashmir file here. So let's me find out my Kashmir data here. We need to okay. Let's first put the Kashmir region, and we need to change the symbology, and we can name it like disputed territory. Like we can name it with NL name 1. First we go to label and then single label, then we can say NL underscore name 1. This will be the disputed territory and lying here, and its color is very dark right now. Let's make it a little okay. Dark is okay. So the symbology is very dark color. Okay, now we can see the disputed territory as a separate entity, and now we can continue our map. We can see this is also available now here, and if we zoom in we can see like 50, 49, 69, 70, or maybe 60. This size of map is good looking. Then we can add our legend at this space. Now we will fix our legend. We will first auto update stop, then we can say disputed Azad Jammu Kashmir region, and we need to remove these layers. We need to remove this layer, and we can say number of respondents. Our survey has number of respondents, then these are the classes that represent that how many number of respondents we have. There is font size, here is font size, and item font, and the subgroup font. I think this is subgroup number of respondent. No, this is group heading. Subgroup heading, no. Yeah. Okay, number of respondent is also big now. You can add title. Here is title. Legend. You can add title. Title font should be maybe 25 for now. You can make it bold and underline. No, underline is not okay. Okay, I hope you got the idea. Next, we are going to must add the scale bar, and scale bar should go somewhere here. This is very small scale bar. Okay, it fits here right now. It should be right. Now it looks much better. Next, we add north arrow. North arrow should go somewhere here. There are many types of north arrow. We can change them from this library, but for now it is okay. And finally, we can add a rectangle as an outline, neat line. Use ArcMap by default, make this rectangle. So we need to style it and mark a simple outline. We do not need to fill it. So this is our map. We need to, what is this? Where is it? Why it is not opening a new thing? I think it is why it is saving as a separate. So this is the Pakistan map layout. JPG, we save it like 400 again. It is still saving. Where we saved? Okay, we saved it the map data. Let's cut and paste it to Pakistan data. And this is the map that we made out of our survey data. And it can be anything. There could be many more things that we can make from the data. I will show some example. It is very time taking to make a map like this. Like I'm going to show this USA maps example. Very detailed data was available from one of the client with which I work, with whom I worked, and this was the um, data of the some disease or some survey cases available. These were the state boundaries, and I need to show it from in the same way, just like I made the map before you for Pakistan. Like the data should have 0 to 400, and then these classes go on like this. And these are the ZCTA boundaries in USA. So it was very tricky. We did a lot of iterations to finalize our products, and these are the further addition of the information. There are some sites, some are interview sites and some are other sites. Similarly, there was a request to add the names of those sites, and you can see we can add the names of sites, and then we can show these sites in the legend, these colors, and we can see. So we moved this legend to here in these sites and removed the labels. So these are the variations of the same work. So that's it. We can just to be a little more precise, we can crop this side boundaries from this map in Photoshop. So this is the distribution of survey data that I made before you. Now let's have we have half an hour, or we can stop it earlier. And I think that it is a good time that you can discuss your queries, or you can discuss your projects, but whatever problem you are facing already, or maybe you plan to use your data after taking this webinar and you plan to map your data, so we can discuss it openly. Thank you. I am open for questions now. Dr. Stingray, are you there?
Yes, thank you for your time. And if
My
anyone
pleasure.
have any kind of questions, so you guys can ask freely. I guess there are 2 questions in chat box. If you can answer them, so that
Okay,
would be
let me
much
check.
appreciated.
Here is my chat box. Here it is. Okay, please share us sites from where we can download shapefiles data of the countries. Okay, I am sending you the link here. That is very important. This type of administrative data is available free. So these are the, oh no, actually I copy pasted, but now I am sharing it again. From PowerPoint, it was like copy pasting of table. How
Kamran bhai, if you
can-
can share in that WeChat group. I guess Said is not available.
Okay, I will share in the WeChat group.
Thank
I
you.
logged out from my computer, and after the webinar, I can write description and share it.
Okay, sure.
Can we show the different distribution as you mentioned before, such as composition of soil, water, pH, etc. that specific region inside the map? Well, it depends on the availability of the data. Mr. Saeed also left the webinar. So, but it is a good question, as I already told that if we are collecting data in our Excel file, then we need to make a column of pH value. So whatever point we survey, whatever mostly pH value is for water samples, whatever water sample we take, either one in the middle of the city, one in the right side corner of the city, we take the coordinates. We mark some place. If we do not have GPS, we can write the name of some key place like some mosque or church or any office or building. Then we can search on Google and find that place, like the Visa Center, for example, and we know we were very close to that, so it's okay. We can mark the coordinates of that place and then map our data on the map. So that is the way we can collect attributes of anything and then we can make a map of it. That is how we can show the distribution of pH value, soil or water on the map in specific region. It could be any region, or we can directly ask for data from some organization that has downloaded it, that has stored the data. Some organization already worked on some data, then they can share the data and we just simply go ahead and map it on the map. That is the other way around. I hope I answered that question. I will also write answer to this question on the WeChat group. Let me copy these questions for
Guys,
okay.
if any questions, so feel free to ask.
Yeah, you can ask. I am writing answers to these questions and posting it on WeChat. Meanwhile, you can think of more questions. Dr. Saab, it is not very easy to.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's not a question, just a suggestion. I think this topic needs a lot of time and practice for all of us, because yeah, this is something interesting, but yeah, it's time taking. So maybe in future we can arrange some more webinars for this, or you
Yes,
can come up with different.
Yeah, sure. Next time, I hope it's very good point you raised, because whenever I try to teach this map making to anyone, it's really time taking, because these GIS software are not very simple software like any other software. These are made very complicated.
Yes, you're right, and
And
actually we need time to get familiar
yeah,
with the basic terms and basic things, actually, because I think most of the people here are, this software is something new for them. including
Yes,
me.
yes,
So
exactly.
it's like we don't want you
Yes,
to
you are
waste
right.
your time and effort. So I think, yeah, we should like arrange
Like,
this in more practical way.
yes, you are right. Next time, if the time permit, we can arrange it in some workshop manner. Maybe the participant can practice alongside slowly, and we should have much longer time for that. Actually, the in the GIS work, we face a lot of problem. First of all, the software does not install. Then in the next step, the data does not behave like it should behave. Then in the third phase, something odd keeps coming. Sometimes the export is not very good. The exporting map result are not
Yeah.
what we were expecting. So we ourselves who work in the GIS field face lot of troubles while working with the data. And I showed you examples of some US maps. It literally took few days, almost a week, to make several iterations of these maps. So actually, the purpose of this webinar was what I wanted to convey was that a message to all participants that you can use mapping in your research. That was the basic message. Now, those who get interested in this, we I hope I can share more knowledge in future. But the basic purpose is that if someone never thought that he's from management science and he never thought of making something like that, so he at least have some idea or intention in future. He can start thinking that he can make maps in their research paper. And I believe that research papers which contain maps publish faster than simple theory. That is what the
Yes, you're
editors
right.
and
Thank you so
editors
much for your
and
effort.
Kamran bhai, if
Thank you.
you can share some literature or books or these kind of things with the students, so that would be much beneficial for them.
yes, sure. I
Or
think that is a
any
good idea.
installation guide or any uh, any software guide, so they can at least check codes or any kind of thing. So
Yeah, okay, you are right. And let me go to this documentation. QGIS itself has very comprehensive documentation, and this is the user manual. If we go to the QGIS website, and it starts from what is QGIS and installation guide and introduction, then its menu bar, panels, and finally general tools. This is the introduction of tools. Then we have literally practical exercise. We have a lot of practical exercises like not here. This is training manual. We have a lot of practical exercises like how to make a map. There is a sample map, then they are doing step by step. Yeah, creating a basic map. So if we go to this module, we will find it deeper and deeper. So the thing is that the best place to learn is the QGIS manual itself. They teach each and everything with screenshots and with lot of detail. Laying out the maps. Let's try this one. We can see we have assignment one, and this is adding a legend. So we have screenshots, and they guide us step by step to make a map like this and even better. They share data. They have a place to download the data. I will share the link of this documentation with everyone right now because it is the most comprehensive resource for anyone to start, and with screenshots and with every detail. Where is my chat?
like there is one question from Safdar, and he asked can we get the Pakistan updated maps from those websites?
Uh, Yes, very tricky question. Actually, the case of Pakistan is very strange and very different. Pakistan recently updated map, and I don't know where even the PDF is and what is the difference. But we received a SMS on our mobile that if we make a Pakistan map wrong, then if anyone make Pakistan map wrong, they can get fine of millions of rupees. So there is a one case. But when we approach Survey of Pakistan for data, for official data, they do not share. And people approached to this application called this application web Prime Minister Citizen Portal. We many students have complained on Citizen Portal that basic data is not available. How research is gonna progress in this country? But I myself have screenshot available. I myself logged the complaint, but they say this is a security risk and data is not available. And a PhD doctor in South Korea is trying to use the embassy channel. He is mobilizing the ambassador of embassy of Pakistan in South Korea to talk to Prime Minister of Pakistan on this issue. So it there was literally a very long fight and very long struggle, but still no results. Actually, the official data of Pakistan is not available. The only data available is what I used in front of you during the session, and I can share my screen again to show what data is available and from where. But this is not 100% accurate data of Pakistan. It is just to this is what we mostly researchers use, but in some places this area where my mouse, if you can see my mouse, this is sometime changed here, and some data has different version, some have different version. This is what we have data for Pakistan, but the official data is not available in GIS format. It is only available in PDF format, when which is used less. And from where to download, it can be downloaded from the same website, GADM website, country level data, or DIVA GIS country level data. These both websites provide country level data and many more data sets. Like administrative data, we go to Pakistan, and then we can select administrative data, inland water data, roads data. These are not very accurate, and and for other countries there is also no guarantee that these are very accurate, but mostly these are accurate. And we can download these basic data sets for Pakistan as well. And if we do download administrative data, so it will be PAK-ADM file. It will be the same data that we used in the map. I hope you got the answer. Official version is not provided by Survey of Pakistan. Survey of Pakistan is custodian of the data, but they have strange security issues and they are not responding to our requests. Good questions of there. And I cannot read this Chinese name. And thank you so much, sir. It was fruitful session, but still we need to learn. The thing is that I started in 2012. I did 4-year degree, then I did master, 3-year master in China. So it is a very long practice, like 4 to 7 years of practice. But I believe like 3 to 4 hours of self work by following some tutorial on YouTube, and 4 to 5 hours of consistent work can make a map for anyone. Anyone can make a map like this. But the basics will be not strong. It will be only a map, and I hope it will serve the needs of your work for the time being. You do not need to go to the detailed concept of the whole field. Just focus on the practical part and get your work done and add it to your report, and it will be a good visualization for you. Otherwise, you cannot grasp each and every concept in the GIS field. So I suggest, and again, my purpose of promoting this webinar was to first to promote my own field, and next um, to give a signal, to give you a signal that you start thinking that you can change your normal data to a map data in future. That was the purpose of my webinar, and I hope I will design more comprehensive things in future if Allah give me the courage and time, and inshallah I will try my best.
Any other questions, please?
I was very nervous at the start of our webinar. It's
I guess we all are desi over here. I guess no foreigner here.
I
Right?
was so nervous I forgot to ask. I was just focused on thinking this. I need to deliver this. I need to deliver this.
Maybe someone is from
Someone is from China.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many of us.
I guess it's a Chinese name, so he or she might be from China.
Yeah.
No, but she's asking for, or he's asking for the maps of Pakistan. So, okay.
Name is Chinese. Okay. So it's okay. Like name is Chinese, so we can talk in Desi. So आप लोग I think better होंगे. Person is from Pakistan.
Okay.
So like still it's ambiguous. Like either that person is he or she.
Anyone is
Like,
okay.
I don't know.
We do not.
I don't know. Sometimes like people do these kind of things. Like they left people with ambiguity. So I guess.
But in our webinar, we do not discriminate on gender. So let's say.
Yes, for sure. This is like teasing and at least. Okay, she.
It's confirmed.
She. Okay.
Okay. So अब अपनी जुबान में
So I
वैसे
guess
बात
आप लोग
Next
ठीक होंगे.
point must be the name.
No. We don't need. It's like Xi Jinping, right? In a Chinese.
In Chinese, no, it's Fa. First character is Fa, I think.
Yes.
Like the last character.
I think she's the only she here.
I don't know. I forgot all the Chinese since I left China 2 years.
Yes,
around.
actually, we all left China like I guess 2 years back.
Oh, so where are you now? In Pakistan?
Yes, I guess most of them are in Pakistan.
Oh, I see. It's okay. The online
Okay.
connection is
और आप लोग
fine. Like
एक्चुअली यहाँ पे आई गेस आई होप कोई फॉरेनर नहीं है. तो बेसिक सॉफ्टवेयर आप जब भी कोई सीखने के लिए आता है या सिखाने के लिए आता तो एटलीस्ट एक चीज बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट होती है जो कि मैं आई थिंक हर वेबिनार में बोलता हूँ, या एटलीस्ट यूजर मैनुअल आप लोग पहले से देख लिया करें. रीजन ये होती है कि आपको यानी एटलीस्ट एक बंदा अगर खुद कर रहा होता है तो एटलीस्ट आपको नो हाउ हो जाती है कि मैंने करना क्या है इस सॉफ्टवेयर का. तो दैट इज व्हाई लाइक मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल और यूजुअली हमारी अपनी प्रैक्टिस होती है, 4-5 साल की प्रैक्टिस होती है, वो एक दिन में कभी भी नहीं सिखाई जाती है. तो
सही कह रहे हैं आप.
ये एटलीस्ट आप बार बार प्रैक्टिस करके आपको सीखना होता. तो प्रैक्टिस करें कामरान साहब की डिटेल्स आप लोगों के पास है. इफ यू गाइस हैव एनी क्यूरी, सो फील फ्री टू आस्क हिम. ही इज मच मोर हम्बल पर्सन. क्योंकि एटलीस्ट दिस इज मच अप्रिशिएटेड कि कोई खुद आके कहता है कि मैंने खुद सिखाना है. तो एटलीस्ट दिस इज मच मोर अ कॉन्फिडेंट काइंड ऑफ टेम्परामेंट. सो एटलीस्ट वन शुड अप्रिशिएट इट.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर साहब. ये मैडम सबा ने पूछा था कि टेम्परेचर डाटा ईच सैम्पलिंग साइट का जो है ना कैसे लिया जाए, और अगर डिफरेंट एलिवेशन पे जा रहे हैं, फॉरेस्ट में सैम्पलिंग कर रहे हैं, तो इसके सबसे सीधा तरीका तो ये है कि जिस जगह आप सैम्पलिंग करने जा रहे हैं आपका जीपीएस काम कर रहा है, आप जितने मर्जी एट्रीब्यूट से कोऑर्डिनेट नोट करें कि ये जगह एक्स वाई जी है, और उसके साथ जितनी मर्जी चीज़ें नोट कर लें, वहाँ टेम्परेचर क्या है और सॉइल की ह्यूमिडिटी क्या है, कुछ भी नोट कर लें, दैट विल बी मैपेबल. दूसरा टेम्परेचर का ये है कि टेम्परेचर डाटा जो है वो सिटीज़ के लिए और डिफरेंट रीजन्स के लिए मेट्रोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट से फ्री में रिक्वेस्ट किया जा सकता है. पाकिस्तान मेट्रोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट डाटा देता है रिसर्च के लिए, तकरीबन 15 से 20 दिन से 1 महीना तक लग जाता है अगर उनको फॉर्मल रिक्वेस्ट की जाए, तो उससे भी मैप बनाया जा सकता है. और टेम्परेचर डाटा का मैप जो है वो डिफरेंट तरह का होगा. टेम्परेचर डाटा का मैप जो है वो बेसिकली इंटरपोलेशन एक टेक्निक है. टेम्परेचर डाटा मैप्स वो जो बनेगा वो इस तरह का मैप बनेगा जिसमें आप इंटरपोलेट करते हो, आपको दरमियान वाले एरियाज का भी मैप जो है ना, बहुत ही लो क्वालिटी का है, ये आ गया. आप डिफरेंट जगह पे सैम्पलिंग कर लेते हो, और एलिवेशन का मैप भी तकरीबन इसी तरह का ही बनता है कि आप जो है ना इंटरपोलेशन करके ना, अब ये सारी जगह का टेम्परेचर तो नहीं लिया हुआ, लेकिन बस कुछ पॉइंट्स का लिया और उसको इंटरपोलेट कर लिया, तो इनसाइड रीजन का भी जो है ना वो मैप आ जाता है. तो ये इसका तरीकाकार है. बस डाटा ही बुनियादी चीज़ है बेसिकली. जो सारे पूछ रहे हैं कि ये कैसे बनेगा, बनना तो इतना मुश्किल नहीं है, डाटा करेक्ट होना चाहिए. डाटा कलेक्ट करते वक्त आप ज़रूर नोट करें कि आपने कौन कौन से एट्रीब्यूट लेने हैं और वो किस किस लोकेशन पे है. तो ये दो चीज़ें अगर होंगी, एट्रीब्यूट करेक्ट होंगे और आपके पास लोकेशन होगी, किसी भी तरह से लोकेशन होगी, आइदर वो हो सकता है कि मस्जिदों के स्पॉट्स हों कि एक अप्रॉक्सीमेट लोकेशन हो, बस कुछ भी किसी भी तरह से लोकेशन होगी, या स्ट्रीट एड्रेस हो सकता है. जिस तरह यूएसए में बहुत अच्छे स्ट्रीट एड्रेस होते हैं, ये चाइना में भी बंदा आराम से पहुंच जाता है, मतलब चाइना तो काफ़ी डेवलप्ड है. तो स्ट्रीट एड्रेस हो सकता है अगर बहुत ही लो स्मॉल स्केल पर स्टडी कर रहे हैं, तो कोई भी लोकेशन होनी चाहिए. और सॉरी डॉक्टर साहब, आपकी बात जो है वो मैंने बीच में मेरे ख्याल एकदम से ही मैंने काट दी थी. बात
नहीं
तो
नहीं
अभी
नहीं,
पूरी हो
कोई
गई
इशू नहीं है.
थी.
नहीं नहीं नहीं.
बात तो अभी पूरी हो गई थी, और आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं. बहुत मुझे खुशी हुई है. मैं पहले इतने ज़्यादा वेबिनार, एक दो मैंने वेबिनार अटेंड किए थे, वो जो मेंडले सिखाया था, तो मैं बड़ा इम्प्रेस हुआ था कि उसमें वो मैं अभी भी टेक्निक कभी कभी यूज़ करता हूँ. उसमें से जो चीज़ें मुझे याद हैं, वो जो रिसर्च गैप फाइंड करने वाला एक प्रोसेस था, वेरी एफिशिएंट और बहुत यूज़फुल है. उससे बड़ी ज़िंदगी आसान हो
असल
गई, बहुत
में
सी चीज़ें.
ये वाला वीक मेरा थोड़ा सा फ्री है. तो एक्चुअली मैंने सोचा, मैंने कहा ये कर देता हूँ, क्योंकि
बहुत
इसमें
अच्छा
मैं
किया
प्लान
आपने.
किया हुआ है कि एटलीस्ट 2-3 वेबिनार कर लें. लोगों को फायदा हो जाएगा. तो थोड़े से टेक्निकल किस्म के कर लें. तो बाकी
सही सही.
कोई अगर हो तो खुद ही आ जाए, कह दे कि भाई हमने करवाना है, तो ठीक है. लेकिन यह है कि
सही सही.
एटलीस्ट नॉलेज शेयर करने से बढ़ती है, कम नहीं होती है.
बेशक आज बहुत चीज़ें सीखने को मिली हैं, और मकसद यही है कि स्टार्ट थिंकिंग कि एक इस
बिल्कुल.
एंगल पे भी कुछ स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं ऐसी फील्ड्स में होते हैं जो कभी सोचते ही नहीं है. जिस तरह मतलब वो नहीं सोचते कि हम मतलब कुछ इस तरह की इनोवेशन भी ला सकते हैं काम में. वही जो एक ट्रेंड चल रहा होता है फील्ड से, उससे बाहर निकलना जो है वो एक नया आइडिया, डिफरेंट फील्ड्स के वेबिनार्स और डिफरेंट फील्ड्स के सेमिनार्स अटेंड करने से जो है ना बंदे को आता है. जिस तरह हम जेएस वाले हैं, तो हमें इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ाना शुरू कर दी यूनिवर्सिटी ने, तो अंदाजा हुआ कि यार मतलब हर तरफ है इकोनॉमिक्स. सारी गेम इकोनॉमी और
बिल्कुल.
इकोनॉमिक्स की है कि इकोनोमेट्रिक्स और गवर्नमेंट्स कैसे वर्क करती हैं, पॉलिसीज कैसे बनती हैं. अब पीएचडी के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि पॉलिसीज़ कैसे बनती हैं और पॉलिसीज़ की इफेक्टिवनेस क्या है, इसको बड़ा डिटेल स्टडी किया जाए। तो ये
बिल्कुल।
बास फील्ड्स ऐसी हैं जिनमें हम स्टडी नहीं करते, तो ये मेहरबानी होती है
असल
कुछ
में
यूनिवर्सिटीज इंटीग्रेट करती हैं
कुछ
चीज़ों
चीजें
को।
आपको डिफरेंट फील्ड से मिल जाती हैं,
ऐसा ही है। ये आप
तो
सही कह रहे हैं,
एटलीस्ट
इसी तरह से जो है ना वो इनोवेशन आ जाती है रिसर्च पेपर में।
बिल्कुल।
कहते हैं ए डिड दिस, बी ने ये किया, सी ने ये किया, मैंने जो है ये जो है ना ये वाली फील्ड जो है ना पहले बिल्कुल यूज नहीं हुई, अब जो है मैंने इसके अंदर ये मैप भी बनाया गया है और डिफरेंट एनालिसिस
और
परफॉर्म।
सेकेंडली एक चीज जो कि बहुत नोटिफाइबल है और स्टूडेंट के साथ शेयर करनी चाहिए, वो ये कि आप एटलीस्ट कभी भी रिसर्च पेपर में क्लेम मत किया करें, क्योंकि मेजॉरिटी रिसर्च पेपर्स आते हैं आप ये बोल लेते हो कि भाई टू द बेस्ट ऑफ ऑथर नॉलेज देयर हैज बीन नथिंग डन प्रायरली, तो एटलीस्ट ये वाले क्लेम ना किया करें। क्योंकि रीजन ये होती है कि आप अगर अपने पीसी के सामने बैठ जाएं और आप लोगों के पास इवन वेब ऑफ साइंस का डेटा हो, तो मेरा जितना ख्याल है कि अगर आप अपना एक वेरिएबल लिख दे तो वेब ऑफ साइंस पे बड़ी चीजें निकल आती हैं। इट डजेंट मीन कि अगर वो गूगल स्कॉलर पे नहीं है तो वेब ऑफ साइंस पे नहीं होगा। तो काइंडली फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट पे ये किया करें, अगर आप लोगों का कैंडिडेचर हो जाता है तो आप जाएं आईएसओ से अपना अकाउंट, यूजर आईडी और पासवर्ड जो कि ऑफिशियल ईमेल होती है आपकी, वो बनाएं और एटलीस्ट वेब ऑफ साइंस पे भी सर्च कर लिया करें कि भाई कितने पेपर हुए हैं कितने नहीं हुए हैं इस पे। और वेब ऑफ साइंस की टेक्निक डिफरेंट होती है, तो कम से कम वेब ऑफ साइंस पे जाएं, एटलीस्ट अपने पर्टिनेंट, चाहे वो सॉफ्टवेयर है, कोई सा भी सॉफ्टवेयर है, चाहे कोई भी वेरिएबल है, तो एटलीस्ट उसके पर्टिनेंट आप लोग पढ़े तो सही। क्योंकि अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो आपके जहन में डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस होते हैं। ये नहीं होता कि
बिल्कुल सही
एटलीस्ट
बात है।
मैंने जो किया हुआ तो किसी और ने अप्लाई नहीं किया होगा। तो यूजुअली होता है अप्लाई किया होता है, लेकिन ये है कि ऑल यू नीड टू सर्च दैट।
बिल्कुल सही बात है, बिल्कुल सही बात है। इसी तरह सेम गोज फॉर स्कोपस एंड वेब ऑफ साइंस बोथ। स्कोपस इज आल्सो वेरी
बिल्कुल।
कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव डेटाबेस।
लेकिन असल में बस ये आई थिंक मोस्टली आप चाइना से पीएचडी कर रहे हैं, मास्टर्स कर रहे हैं, लेकिन चाइना वाले तो बेसिकली वेब ऑफ साइंस को ही फॉलो कर रहे हैं और उनकी अपनी लिस्टेड जर्नल्स होती हैं। तो आप काइंडली, मैं यानी सिर्फ और सिर्फ चाइनीज स्टूडेंट के साथ ये कहता हूँ कि भाई एटलीस्ट यू हैव टू सर्च मच रेलेवेंट डेटा ऑन वेब ऑफ साइंस एटलीस्ट। स्कोपस भी आप कर सकते हो, ये नहीं कि नहीं कर सकते हो, और उसकी भी क्रेडेंशियल है, लेकिन यह है कि जो लिस्टेड जर्नल्स इन लोगों ने खुद बनाई होती है तो वो मेजॉरिटी यानी वेब ऑफ साइंस के थ्रू होती है। तो पता नहीं इन लोगों के खैर क्राइटेरिया का तो मुझे आज तक पता नहीं चला कि ये कैसे क्राइटेरिया मेंटेन करते हैं ये लोग।
बिल्कुल सही बात है, बहुत अच्छी एडवाइस है डॉक्टर साहब, बहुत सही कह रहे हो। बता बात वो सर्च करता है तो बंदे को लगता है यार इसमें से क्या निकालूं, ऑलरेडी इतना काम हुआ हुआ है, इतने ज्यादा चीजें निकलती हैं ना कि लेकिन इसमें
एक
से क्या
माइन्यूट
निकालूं।
किस्म की चीज, यानी मैं अपनी अगर पीएचडी की बात कर लूं तो एक बड़ी माइन्यूट किस्म की चीज थी। आई वाज देयर इन IEEE वर्कशॉप। मैं चाइना में ही, और मुझे जबरदस्ती ले जाया गया था। आई वाजंट एग्रीड कि मैं जाऊं, लेकिन मैं वैसे ही गया हूं, मैंने वैसे ही बैठा हूं। तो उसमें वो बार बार एक फजी टेक्निक होती है, उसने बार बार वो ये कह रहा था कि फजी टेक्निक है, तो फिर आके मैंने थोड़ा सा पढ़ा, उस फजी टेक्निक को मैंने यानी इवन बिहेवियरल साइंसेज में मैंने अप्लाई की है। तो दैट वाज लाइक अ ब्रेक थ्रू। तो एटलीस्ट आपको कहीं ना कहीं से, भाई IEEE की वर्कशॉप चल रही है, IEEE का काम ही मेरे साथ नहीं है, लेकिन एटलीस्ट आपको ये चीज होती है कि आप कोई ना कोई चीज उठा के, वो इनोवेशन होती है, ब्रेक थ्रू होता है वो आपका।
एग्जैक्टली, बिल्कुल सही बात की आपने।
तो थोड़ा बहुत यानी इवन मैप्स से रेलिवेंट और इन चीजों से रेलिवेंट मेरा कोई काम नहीं है, लेकिन एटलीस्ट बैठ के एटलीस्ट नो हाउ मुझे हो गई है कि होता क्या है क्या नहीं होता। बाकी आप लोग पढ़ें, साथ में लिटरेचर पढ़ें, बुक्स पढ़ें, यूजर मैनुअल पढ़ें, तो एटलीस्ट आपको पता होगा। बाकी जो चीजें नहीं आती हैं तो कामरान साहब इज देयर फॉर यू, तो यू गाइस कैन फ्रीली आस्क कि भाई ये चीज है, मुझे ये मसले हैं। और दूसरी बात यह है कि दो वी आर PhD, इट डजेंट मीन वी आर अ गूगल। सो अगर आप लोगों के कोई क्वेश्चन है तो गिव सम ऑफ दम अ स्पेस कि एटलीस्ट वो खुद भी क्लियर हो जाए, तो आपको क्लियर कर देता है बास टाइम पे। तो यहाँ पे असल में अजीब अजीब किस्म के मसले हैं। हम पीएचडी को गूगल समझना शुरू कर देते हैं। तो क्योंकि आप जिस भी पीएचडी के बाद आप किसी भी अपने इंटरव्यू में चले जाएं, तो इंटरव्यू तो सबसे पहले ये पूछ रहा होता है कि भाई आपको आता क्या है। तो वो ऐसे बिहेव कर रहा होता है जैसे कि एक एक्सपर्टीज, एरिया ऑफ एक्सपर्टीज होती है, वो पूछ कहीं और से रहा होता है।
इसी तरह ही
वो
होता
180 डिग्री का शिफ्ट होता है वो।
है। सही बात।
तो उसको ये लग रहा है कि भैया, और आखिर में ये फिर होता है कि भाई आपसे ये पूछा जाता है कि भाई आपने पीएचडी की हुई है। तो बंदा उसको ये भी समझाए कि भाई मैंने पीएचडी किया, मेरी ये एरिया ऑफ एक्सपर्टीज है। इट डजंट मीन कि तुम जो पूछ रहे हो वो मैंने किया होगा।
बिल्कुल सही कह
3-4
रहे डॉक्टर साहब,
साल
ये मैं सुन
तो
चुका हूँ ये बात
एटलीस्ट
ना।
नॉलेज कहीं से भी गैदर करें। यू डोंट इवन नो कि सामने, चाहे मेरे 4 साल बाद या 3 साल बाद, पीएचडी के बाद असल कहानी पीएचडी के बाद शुरू होती है। पीएचडी तो आप लोग कसम से, यानी आप लोग मजे करोगे। आप कहोगे कि यार पीएचडी में तो कुछ था ही नहीं। तो नॉलेज गैदर करें और साथ साथ थोड़ी सी प्रैक्टिस भी किया करें। एटलीस्ट छोटे छोटे फंडामेंटल्स आपको आते हो ना, काफी है आप लोगों के लिए।
डॉक्टर साहब, ये क्वेश्चन आया हुआ
जी जी
है, ये चैट में आया हुआ है।
सर। यस यू कैन। तैयबा, ओके तैयबा, बेसिकली इस पे एक वर्कशॉप करवाते हैं और वेब ऑफ साइंस पे आप लोगों की सर्च टेक्निक आपको सिखाता हूँ मैं नेक्स्ट उसमें। तो ये है कि यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफिशियल ईमेल आप बना ले, अगर नहीं बनी हुई तो। क्योंकि यहाँ से असल में पाकिस्तान में सबसे बड़ा इशू ये है कि जो ऑफिशियल आईडी आपको दी जाती है तो यहाँ पे कभी काम करती है, कभी काम नहीं करती है। तो समटाइम्स आई हैव टू पोक डॉक्टर आयशा कि एटलीस्ट मुझे ये डाउनलोड करके दे दे। तो समटाइम्स यू हैव टू पॉप इन सम चैट, आई गेस। तो कभी मैं डॉक्टर आयशा को क्या देता हूँ, कभी 2-3 और बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं तो उनसे बात कर लेता हूँ कि भाई मुझे ये पेपर वगैरह चाहिए, क्योंकि यहाँ पे ऑफिशियल ईमेल काम नहीं करता। तो इसीलिए वेब ऑफ साइंस का ये था, करना था, लेकिन कभी कभी काम करता है, कभी नहीं करता, तो वो बीच में रह जाएगा। तो एनीवे, मैं जब काम कर रहा हूँ मैं शायद वीडियो बना दूं इसकी, छोटी सी, आई थिंक 3-4 मिनट की वीडियो, तो वो बना के मैं शेयर कर देता हूँ।
ठीक हो गया सर, इतनी बिल्कुल आपने सही कहा। जो ऑफिशियल आईडी है ये बहुत काम आती है। अब तो
बिल्कुल
वेब ऑफ साइंस के अलावा बहुत से जर्नल्स ने साइन इन बाय इंस्टीट्यूशन का ऑप्शन दिया होता है, तो उस पे जाएं। साइन इन बाय इंस्टीट्यूशन में एक दो उसमें कंपनीज हैं, शिबुलेट उसको कहते हैं, या एक और भी है, वो उनके ना एक सेंटर बने हुए हैं, कुछ कंपनीज ने बनाया हुआ लॉगिन अपना। तो उस पे ऑफिशियल आईडी डालो तो मोस्टली अनलॉक हो जाते हैं जर्नल्स। वो ऑफिशियल आईडी, खासतौर पर चाइनीज यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की ऑफिशियल आईडी तो काफ़ी जो है ना यूज़ होती है। चाइनीज यूनिवर्सिटीज़ ने तो बहुत ज़्यादा परचेसिंग की हुई है। ऑलमोस्ट ऑल डेटाबेसेस आर अवेलेबल ऑन देयर
बिल्कुल
आईडीज।
बिल्कुल।
इसी तरह
ओके
जापान
गाइस,
का
आई
एक
गेस।
सेंट्रलाइज सिस्टम है।
जी।
सॉरी मैंने अभी,
नहीं
जापान ने
नहीं
क्या
नहीं।
किया हुआ है, जापान ने जो है ना एक कंपनी बनाई हुई है जिस तरह हमारी एचईसी है, तो उन्होंने इनका नाम रखा हुआ है गाकुनेन। तो वो बाहर से मेन परचेजिंग करती है चीज़ों की, और उसने अपने नीचे जो है ना वन मतलब 700-800 यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को जो है ना लॉग इन दिए हुए हैं। तो इस तरह का सेंट्रलाइज सिस्टम पूरी कंट्री ने किया हुआ है। इस तरह एचईसी भी कह सकता है, और कुछ किया हुआ भी है उन्होंने, आईपीज वगैरह डिस्ट्रीब्यूट की हुई भी हैं। इतना टाइम नहीं मिला एक्सप्लोर करने का। तो इस तरह चाइना का जो है वो सीएसटी क्लाउड है, जो चाइनीज अकेडमी ऑफ साइंस मोस्टली ऑपरेट करता है। तो उस पे जो है काफ़ी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव एक्सेस हो जाती है चीज़ों की। ये कुछ नॉलेज था। जी डॉक्टर साहब, इसको फिर आप वाइंड अप करना स्टार्ट कर रहे थे।
आप लोगों का कोई क्वेश्चन वगैरह तो नहीं है? अगर नहीं है तो सो वी कैन कंक्लूड आवर सेशन।
क्वेश्चन आया है लेकिन इट्स जस्ट अ कमेंट।
ओके।
Yeah, that is the problem. Google Scholar is not the enough.
Authentic one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you, Kamran Bhai, for giving us the precious time. और आपने बहुत नो हाउ करवाई है, तो अभी इंशाल्लाह अब हमारा काम है कि थोड़ा सा मैनुअल वगैरह पढ़ लें और आपको फिर थोड़ा सा तंग करें.
थैंक यू
Thank
सो
you,
मच.
guys.
ये ग्रुप बना हुआ है, एंड थैंक यू फॉर मेकिंग दिस प्लेटफॉर्म, एंड always welcome. More is welcome, and I feel always happy to interact with other academicians, and thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
guys.
Kamran bhai. We'll come up with more questions.
Thank you, Dr. Aisha.
Okay.
Thank
Allah
you.
Hafiz.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz. I am ending the meeting in 10 seconds. Allah Hafiz.
Okay.